Hello, alrighty, guys. Welcome back to another session of backtesting where we are going to be backtesting another half month's worth of data. This is episode number um fucking 27, I believe. 27 of our backtesting streams where we are going from 2022 all the way up until 2026 in one single stretch. If you guys are interested in checking out the rest of these videos, this entire process is going to be recorded and posted on my YouTube. With that being said, if you guys like this type of content, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and let's just drop straight into it. So the last month that we traded, we came out with 10R. That's in the course of March over the course of these trades here. April, this is where I'm gonna drop straight into it because it's 122. I don't know if this is a good idea, but I feel like backtesting for at least 30 minutes. I was doing some hindsight earlier, and I want to just jump into backtesting to close out the night rather than just pure hindsight. I've been doing hindsight for like the last 4 hours, bro. Honestly, framing got some good. Did about 30 today. 30 frame fully journaled trades, so pretty neat, pretty fun there, right? So let's go and drop into it. So as you can tell, we do have an external internal type model. Drop in from the daily time frame. Yeah, external internal, multiple days of expansion, accumulation previous day. Here's your manipulation, putting that, going back down to internal. Daily profile is very clear, open, high, low, close. Why I'm a little bit more on the messy side with the profile, as we do kind of have that wick here on that London, as London is not as free, but we do have that external internal type model all over the course of all the assets. 6 a.m. candle is very expansive down to the downside, looking like 930 did reverse price. 6 a.m. C2 on both the assets, all three of the assets really. 6 a.m. C2 pushing us into full effect. We have expanded, got us some equal lows that's located here, and we can take notice that YM has swept out these lows already. So YM is slightly weaker. We do want to go over to the next draws on liquidity, which is going to be considered these lows down here, as this is the range highs. Going down to range lows, accumulation, manipulation, looking for the distribution. NQ is making a very deep pullback into the range though. So what I would do is, just because this asset has tapped us into this level, which is a very relevant level, as you can tell, I would wait for a 15-minute swing formation to confirm that we are going lower. You could trade lagging asset if you want to, but looking like YM is a lot more bearish than NQ is, as YM is flipping back inside out. You have the 15-minute C2, you trade the 15-minute C3, looking for a 3-minute CISD. Here's your 3-minute CISD with the 3-minute CISD, 10 a.m. open, high, low, close, forming the high of the 10 a.m. candle with a 15-minute swing, and you could trade this down lower. YM or NQ is still making deep retracement. NQ still wants to go down lower because of those equal lows. Well, you can see YM is giving me that failure to manipulate standards away from this low because of that 15-minute swing. That's telling me to go down to range lows, going from external to range internal, 6 a.m. C2, 10 a.m. C3, down to these lows here, and that would be considered your draw on liquidity. So let's see if we get it here. And you're just trading within this 15-minute swing formation, right? So let's just watch it on the 15. So price goes and rips lower. Okay, now that we got that new 15-minute ICISD here, you really wouldn't want to see it price come back up anymore. So your stops can go to break even. Sorry, hold on, my bad. Go to 2R. Because that's what we are aiming for right now. It's just 2R. We're not trying to go anything higher than 2R, right? Get consistent with 2R, and then we can fucking start shooting for 3. And then there will be your full TP, and then that would be your full range low getting impacted. And as you can tell, NQ did want to go down lower as well. How would you be able to participate in NQ? Would be this 15-minute C3. Off of that 15-minute C3, trade the 15-minute C4, and that's off of this 3-minute CISD that's located here. And then I can go put my stops up to, honestly, if you wanted to, because this pull back, you could adjust your TP and stop loss. And you just go up to here, as this is the protected level, as this is your protected high, with this being considered your protected high. This is your sweep, and you could just trade this down because this is considered the lagging asset. That's a little bit much, bro, trying to ask for that 15-minute open, high, low, close. Oh, what happened to my what happened to my computer? Ew, what the fuck? Oh, there you go. Okay, well, my screen turned off and then it turned back on. So then I would honestly, because for me, I'm more of like a market close type of guy. I'll just market close that and then we just trade this down to 2R. Let's see if we get it. And then edge that 1.98. Fuck that, it's 2R, bro. I'll close the fuck out of that thing, bro. I promise you. Nah, not a no 1.8. I ain't getting edge like that. I'll close it, dog. I'm not one to hold it all the way to TP like that. Nah, I like a lot of the times I'm not at the computer. I'm not gonna lie. Once I go break even in live market, right? So in live market, once I go break even, dog, I usually, I like the moment I go break even, I usually leave the room and I go do some other shit. I don't watch the trade after I'm break even. I just let it run. Um, and I usually just go lie down in the bed. My job is over this way. The moment I'm at break even, my job is technically over. I don't got anything else to do other than let it go to 2R, right? I'll set like notifications, but well, you know, what I mean? I'm not at the computer when I am in a trade. If I gotta be completely honest with you. With that being said, that's the trade there. Going from external to internal, failure to manipulate, 15-minute swing. This is trading back to those range lows. Obviously, you're not going to aim for all the way, but you can see that there is a small wick. This is the formation of the wick of that daily candle, and we're trading the expansion lower. Cool. Moving on to the next. I'll run like 30 minutes of this before having to go to sleep here. And cool. So the things that I am focusing on as well, this is a baseline, right? Universal models, which external, internal, intraday profile, which is the open, high, low close with 6 a.m. C2, looking for 10 a.m. C3. Clear phases and price was showing a V-shaped reversal, and then we had that V-shaped reversal for the thing. Entry signature was the 15-minute pullback. I let the 15-minute C2 close, and I traded the 15-minute C3. There was draws on liquidity that was still available. We did have a lower time frame V-shaped reversal. That's all it is, right? So we're going to be going over that thing every single trade. So I'm looking at a possible internal external type model here as we are tapping us into that internal range. With that internal range, we are in bullish order flow. Seeing as we do have that internal range here, we can take notice that YM is kind of going in the upwards direction, which is low-key kind of weird. I'm not going to front there. However, we are within that internal range liquidity here. This is where I would like to see NQ bounce. So we want to go and study the phases and price where NQ bounce. I will say that the daily profile is showing me a very clear open low high profile as well, where we can see NQ go from internal back up to external, as this is your Monday accumulation, Tuesday wanting to see the reversal, and Wednesday reversal back up to the upside to continue the already existing higher time frame trend. With that being said, I want to go and trade up higher. We do have these lows here that this low actually just got manipulated and SMTs and shit. The daily profile here on YM does have a nice open low high close, as we are pushing us up in the upwards direction, as this is going to be considered my draw on liquidity for the day. And as you can tell, SMTs here. In order for me to trade higher, however, I need to be able to see that this SMT is considered valid, and we would like to see YM go and reverse price, or NQ reverse price here to trade up to all of that low resistance liquidity. Do have a 6 a.m. C2, but that's not phasing me. Why? Because of this, all of these low resistance highs becomes my draw on liquidity the moment this internal range liquidity is taken. So let's see if we get it here and see if we can get a 15-minute C2 out of it. And it does show me that right now NQ is really failing to manipulate and actually is continuing showing me continuation signatures with that 10 a.m. open low, and we are pressing through it. So with that being said, if NQ is going to fail to manipulate, then that means that the SMT that is located at these lows here is considered false. And if the SMTs here at these lows is considered false, YM does have a bunch of equal lows, this could be considered your accumulation, your manipulation here, and then now that's just your 930 manipulation, because we can't trade away from all of those low resistance highs, and now we can trade back down to these range lows, setting the high day with this 15-minute C2 with the V-shaped reversal. Let's see if we get that continuation signature now, and then we would want to trade away from that 15-minute C2, trade the C3 lower, and then this would be a C3 lower, as this is clear phases in price and a clear continuation OB. And as you can tell with that continuation OB, V-shape reversal, continuation OB, NQ is falling through, slow grinding now. We can see YM picking up pace with the framework to go and trade that lagging asset logic to catch YM up with where NQ is, as NQ is going to slow grind to that next draw on liquidity. We can reach down to go and break this draw on liquidity with clear targets, as this is low resistance lows and shit. Where I want to be break even is at this low in general, or possibly a valid OB stop loss, right? With that being said, you do have these gaps away from manipulations is gaps we want to see hold as well. So we would be able to trade this. Okay, price is expanding and then making a deep retracement here. Oh fuck. Well, looking like we might be wrong, as NQ has tapped into that relative level there. I would want to go break even. Let's see if we can get to break even. I'd want to just be out. I'd want to get out of break even already. I wouldn't even want to be in this trade if I gotta be completely honest with you. And then there would be your break even line, and yeah, you would just call it a day, because then this would be considered a consolidation after that, right? You don't want to see deep pullbacks and shit. So with that being said, break even there. This entire day is just going to be considered a chopping day now, as NQ is just going to be consolidating. The phases of price no longer support YM to catch up, right? It supports it for it to actually go and just move sideways anymore, right? So you just got caught up in that one. So that's fine. We got break even there, so not entirely that bad. Let's go and continue from here. So taking a look here, daily time frame, as you can tell, market is actually still ripping down to the downside. So with market ripping down to the downside, I'm looking at a daily C2, looking like daily C3. That's all Tuesday high of week 3, and looking for Thursday to continue pushing down to the downside to that next draw on liquidity, as YM actually is just accumulating. So with YM accumulating within this range, there really isn't anything for me on YM, as everything is kind of just consolidating, right? I'd much more rather trade the asset with clear order flow, as NQ is going down to the downside here to a daily internal range liquidity. With this being said, we actually can take notice that YM, the equal highs here, but YM can be catching up now to where NQ is if it wanted to, right? Because we do have all of these lows here. I just don't like those equal highs that is located like that. But daily profile is definitely showing a nice open high and expansion away from it. With the expansion away from it, we can take notice that NQ is making really deep pullbacks. With the really deep pullbacks here on NQ, this is telling me that there is a possibility that we can well, we actually got a 1 hour OB here, but we can take notice that the high a day daily candle opens up high, misses this high, which is unideal, but we already expand away from it. With this expansion away from it, we do got some lows that we would want to see price get tapped into, as this is going from that range high down to range low. With that being said here, I mean, you could just wait for a new 15-minute swing formation. See, even if NQ, we'd like to see NQ give us a new 15-minute swing. If NQ gives me a new 15-minute swing, I'll just trade NQ lower. Not gonna lie there. Right, so we'll just trade NQ lower, as NQ is giving me that 15-minute swing formation like this. And once you get this 15-minute swing that's located like that, your job is to zoom in here, go for this 3-minute CISD. From this 3-minute CISD, I'm trading the C3 down, as NQ has that accumulation, 10 a.m. open, high, low, close, holding this 15-minute gap, kind of a deep retracement, and then you would be able to go and trade this down to those lows that is located below us. So let's see if we get it. Oh, fuck, I'm out. YM just broke the SMT. Yeah, YM just broke that low and it's getting a reaction off of it, and NQ is getting sent up higher. I'm out here. Honestly, after this closure through this, why you do not want to see this fucker rip upwards, because now this just becomes a bunch of low resistance, as this is going to go and sweep you out, right? Yeah, so we take a small loss there. You just don't want to see this feedback into the range after YM taps into this. If this was going to go, it should have went now type shit. Right, not fucking around and consolidating like that. So I was out there. Yeah, good out there. another good out there. So continue from here. Um, mm, 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 mm. Okay, so we got a clear internal external model. Expansion met with expansion, internal external. Draw on liquidity is here. YM is tapping us into a very relative high. With YM tapping us into a very relative high, this is trading a news candle. So this could be considered, I mean, daily profile is a very clear daily profile, open, low, high, close. Very clear as we are. We could be going up to these next highs. I just want to see how YM treats those highs, which is obviously not treating it badly right now. And it could genuinely be pretty good, honestly, to go through it, right? Because we are just accumulating here, as we would want to see a 15-minute swing formation form this new low with this swing formation here. Okay, so this would be 1815. What the fuck? Well, I mean, this would be like your 15-minute swing that you could trade away from for that Asia continuation, I guess. I don't know how. Oh, I think maybe it's a holiday, right? So it might be a holiday here, because you don't trade at 1800, right? It's 9:30 and then it goes straight to 1800. Yeah, that's a holiday. We're not trading no holidays. I don't know how to do all of that, right? So it does look like I was extremely wrong, as we had an accumulation, manipulation, and then the reversal. We are falling right now. Overnight session does show me that with the overnight, it's an overnight expansion, right? So from 6 o'clock, we do have that overnight expansion down to the downside. I'm going from range high, expanding down lower. This be considers your draw on liquidity. Right now, we can take notice that YM is the weaker or stronger asset. NQ is still falling. So with that overnight expansion, going in from 6 o'clock like that, and we have overly expanded, I can anticipate for New York AM to be what? To be a consolidation or that different phase in price, where I can see a retrace up higher in the range. I personally do not want to trade down this low in the range. I'd much rather just let it go, as this is very low in the range. I need to see a pullback up higher before even trying to want to participate here. So with this all being said, wait for those higher pulls, at least being in discount of this price leg. And this would be your first 15-minute push. With this 15-minute push like that, trade the C4. That's also forming the high of the 12 o'clock candle and pushing into 12 o'clock to get that continuation entry. And then you just stopped out. So I wouldn't trade this. That's just not me. This isn't really my style of trading. When you have that overnight expansion prior to the driver, there's nothing here for me this low in the range, right? So with that being said, there wouldn't be any trades there, which is fine. You know what I mean? It's fine. So taking a look here, daily time frame, we can take notice of just an overall, it's just fucking terrible, bro. Not gonna front there. Holy shit, dude. YM, eyes is off of YM. You're not touching YM until you're done with all of this. So with that being said, don't touch YM until we're finished here. We do have a daily C2 looking like we do want to trade external, internal. Daily profile most likely supports that as well, as we do have this accumulation, manipulation, daily profile, open, high, low, close. Very clear open, high, low, close as well. Looking like we do want to go trade back down to these lows that is located down below us. We do have that 6 a.m. or 6 a.m. or 4-hour CISD. Clear 6 a.m. reversal here. With the 6 a.m. reversal, failure to manipulate 1-hour C2, looking for 10 a.m. to be C3. Unfortunately, we have already expanded prior to all of this, so I would need to wait for a new 15-minute swing in order for me to get on side with this. And the reasoning why is just it's just so low in the range. I can't trade this low in the range until I get that 15-minute swing formation. And right now we can take notice that we are kind of getting one here, but nothing that I can say I really trust, as this is just super low in the range, right? I hate trading at this fucking low here. Not gonna lie, I would much rather wait for a push back up into the range, get that 15-minute C2, then trade the 15-minute C3, as we would like to trade back down to the lowest point of the day, not at the lowest point of the day. And we could trade these to those next draws on liquidity. Big problem with this is that it is that low in the range, right? As we have expanded pretty extensively already. So this is that lower probability trade where it can stop you out if it was to fail, right? And that's just because why it's very fucking low in the range. So my fucking bad. That's what happens when I don't trade for like fucking 5 days in a row, as it keeps on fucking expanding. And yeah, so again, I literally said why that was a bad trade like 10 times before taking it, and then I still end up taking it, which is super unfortunate. But with that being said, accumulation, manipulation, expansion lower, waiting for a new 15-minute swing in order to get on side with this. NQ, obviously, YM is still obviously doing some weird shit that we do not want to participate in. With this being said, I'd like to just wait for a 15-minute swing formation to form in order for me to trade down lower. This would be your 15-minute swing. From that 15-minute swing, you would trade that C2, and then you're just trading the C3 down to all of these lows that is left untapped here. And you would just want to confirm that 15-minute swing with a V-shaped reversal, as that V-shaped reversal has already taken place. And then you would trade in that 15-minute C3 down to the downside, right? So with this all being said, waiting until you can get a valid break-even point. I mean, shit, you'd be at break even now at minimal, dog. At fucking minimal. Once you tap into this low, right? Yeah, fuck it, I guess so. That's what we're doing. A better way that I could possibly have possibly played this is by utilizing the IC/ISD of the new 15-minute open. But then again, I'm a market entry kind of guy. So, I mean, you could have scaled into it, but nonetheless, right? Still fucking did the job, right? Cool. Moving on to the next. So, taking a look here, daily time frame. What can I take notice of? Price is expanding into external, internal. Daily profile does have an 1800 low a day. Very clean. 6 a.m. and driver is expanding away from it. We have the accumulation, manipulation, distributing upwards, pushing. Because price is already overly expanded, I'm going to wait for a 15-minute swing formation in order to get on side with this. And now we would want to wait for the deeper pull. Here would be your deeper pull. And then this would be your 15-minute swing formation in order for you to get on side and trade that fucking C3. As we do have this continuation OB like that, C3 pushes us up higher, and that's where we can go and rip things up higher like that, right? Why is this going to fail? When it does fail is because we are super high up in the range, and it's kind of why you're experiencing that consolidation signatures, right? So now that we do have this continuation OB, lower probability once you get this high in the range, right? So everything in higher probability is lower, but once you reach this high, bro, it's fucked. You know what I mean? You're fucked. You do have to be within a 15-minute swing, so there's no 15-minute swings here, and you're trading that C3 and 4 upwards and seeing if you can get it here. And then you actually get the 2R out of it, which is crazy to say. But yeah, you're just trading that 15-minute swing formation. Everything up here is lower probability though, right? So that is something that I did keep in mind when you got to keep in mind when taking these type of trades. It's definitely lower probability there. The higher in the range it gets is the lower probability it gets 100% of the time. So with that being said, clear daily profile taps us into a relevant level though. So you might be trading external, internal. YM is ripping up quite extensively, looking like an external, internal type day where we are going external, internal. 4-hour C2, V-shaped reversal, not really trading external, internal. I'd much more rather trade YM, as YM does have a 9 a.m. C2 getting held outside of this gap. With the 9 a.m. C2 getting held outside of this gap, I can check a 30-minute C3, looking for that V-shaped reversal. V-shaped reversal, looking like we are tapping us into a relevant level though, so that can be considered for a reversal phase of price. Why? Because of the fact that what is that called? It's a fucking push, bro. It's a SMT break anyway. Trading from external to internal, we can take notice that YM does rip lower. I wasn't anticipating that large of a rip. However, we can try to get on side with NQ here. As long as NQ does give us an entry, there is a possibility for NQ to be considered that lagging asset logic, as we are following suit, right? So here's your SMT swing point like that, and you could trade this down lower, trading that C3, as we would want to use this 15-minute SMT fill for that continuation lower. Wait for that 15 minutes to close. Obviously, the 15 minutes closing weak, I'd much more rather see the sweeping of these highs here and then get a new 15-minute model. So with that being said, looking for a new 15-minute swing to trade that lagging asset logic. Once you get this 15-minute swing, we have the phases and price supporting it, and now we can trade this lagging asset logic as a 15-minute OB continuation, 3-minute V-shape reversal, and everything is ready for us to go and catch for that continuation down to the downside as that lagging asset. So we get tapped in here, see if we get it. All right, stops can go break even as soon as you cross this level that's located there, because that is the lowest point of the day currently, and then we can just hold it for 2R. Let's see if we get it. And then there will be your 2R. So with that being said, what do we do here is just wait for that 15-minute C2 formation, trading away from here. So that's like, I wrote it down on my paper, is when trading the lagging asset logic, just wait for the valid C2s, waiting for the C2 formation, and then trading the C3 continuation, as we did do a V shape away from external internal. And now we can go and trade back down to these lows, going from range high down to range low. YM, obviously the weakest asset, but it's very difficult to get on side of this because it's super low in the range. With it being super low in the range, I would want to trade up NQ down to at least meet minimal this low, and then we can hold it for that 2R and hold it at break even for us to get there, right? So that's basically what that trade was. Moving on to the next. So taking a look here, what can I take notice of? Price is very fucking consolidating. What the fuck? Trading external internal now. Ooh, not that one. So trading external internal, looking like a daily C2, located at the high. With this daily C2, ES is daily C2ing up at those highs as well. So the reasonings to go lower is there. Profile in itself kind of chopped, bro. I mean, the profile says open, low, high, close, but I mean, it's just fucking chopped in general, bro. You're trapped in between this order flow of just consolidation. I mean, we look internal to external, and this is your open low profile. Actually, not entirely that bad, because this is a V-shape reversal, open low profile, V-shape, push down, no wick on the daily candle. 9 a.m. C2. With this 9 a.m. C2, 15-minute swing formation, 30-minute C2 as well. Looking for 3-minute. Okay, so when you see this type of shit, bro, and it's a barcode, stay away from it. So with that being said, it's a barcode right now. It's gonna stay a barcode for the rest of the day. So with that being said, that's just what you would want to do in terms of when you see these barcodes like that. And I have that written down on my paper as where is it? If it is a barcode, it will stay a barcode. That's literally one of the fucking rules, right? I just learned this, like, I mean, I wouldn't say I just learned it, but I'm really putting it into play now. So you don't even gotta try. That's a very good filter. It's like, if this fucker's a barcode before your entry, it's gonna be a barcode at your entry. I promise you, dog. And that's your moving on to the next day here. So with us moving on to the next day, this is the 18th of April. So we're going to stop here because it is 1:50 in the morning and I need to go to sleep before market open tomorrow. So with that being said, let's go and take a look at the statistics. I actually banged that one out in 30 minutes, bro. Half a month in 30 minutes. That's pretty quick, bro. Not even going to front there. Did we do good? That's the real question there. 5R in half a month. So not entirely that bad. Started off the thing a little rough. We had a loss and then a win, a break even, loss, win, or no, loss, and then fucking, yeah, not entirely that bad. So doing pretty good with the frequency and everything. And trading, I would say trading the lagging out. I'm fucking not doing this, bro. I need to go to sleep. Very good session, 5R or 6R. I'm gonna label it as 6R because I always round to the nearest number. 6R in half a month, so pretty decent there. See if we can do better in the next half of this month, right? With that being said, if you guys like this type of content, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next session. Peace.